Something feels manufactured, not just in Kevin Stefanski's game plans, but in the media coverage that follows. After the Browns collapse against the Patriots, headlines quickly echo Mike Vrabel's Gimmick coach label. But dig deeper, and you'll notice how neatly packaged the narratives are. Analysts defend decisions that don't add up, like sticking with Dillon Gabriel despite mounting evidence in favor of Shatter Sanders. It's not just a team under scrutiny. It's the message machine that shields them.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
This tangled media environment only intensifies the scrutiny around Stefanski's leadership. Fans aren't buying the surface-level explanations anymore, especially with Sanders bench week after week. The storylines feel less like football analysis and more like damage control. As pressure mounts, Stefanski isn't just battling on the field. He's fighting for credibility in a media climate that may no longer be on his side. It's official. Kevin Stefanski is in the middle of a full-blown NFL meltdown, and this time, it's not just Cleveland fans losing it. After the Browns' offense crumbled yet again on October 26th in a game that started strong and ended in absolute chaos, Patriots coach Mike Vrabel made sure no one missed a point. He stepped up to the mic post-game and called Stefanski a gimmick coach. 3 words. One nuclear-level detonation across the NFL landscape. That one comment sent shockwaves through football circles, analysts, former players, fans, you name it, because it wasn't just a diss. It was a confirmation. Vrabel said out loud what plenty of people have been thinking, but no one had said publicly. That behind the meticulously scripted first drives and polished interviews, Stefanski's system is shallow. And once you rip the cover off, there's nothing underneath. The Browns opened that Patriots game looking competent, even promising. The kind of early momentum that has fooled fans before. But as always, it didn't last. Once the script dried up, so did the offense. No meaningful adjustments. No spark. No leadership. And when the pressure mounted, Stefanski's strategy collapsed. Again, this isn't new. It's the same playbook fans have seen all season. The Browns look fine when everything goes to plan, but the minute adversity hits, the sideline gets quiet. There's no improvisation, no change of pace, no answer, and nowhere is that more obvious than in the quarterback room. Let's get into it. Stefanski's decision to stick with Dillon Gabriel over Shatter Sanders is becoming one of the most scrutinized moves of the season, and for good reason. Gabriel is the definition of average, safe, conservative, but the problem is playing it safe hasn't worked. The Browns are sputtering on offense, and Gabriel isn't elevating anyone around him. He's not a threat, he's a placeholder. Meanwhile, Shatter Sanders, who has shown talent, vision, and leadership qualities that scream franchise QB, is sitting, watching, waiting. For what? It's not injury. It's not performance. It's not attitude. So the only conclusion left is one fans don't want to hear. Stefanski either has a personal bias or he's misjudging the situation so badly that it's threatening the entire team's trajectory. And people are noticing. Fast. The backlash isn't just about one start or one game. It's about a growing sense that something deeper is broken inside the Browns organization. That decisions are being made based on politics, not performance. That personal preferences are outweighing professional results. And in a league as cutthroat as the NFL, that's a formula for collapse. The media is not helping. In fact, it's making things worse. Coverage of the Browns situation feels sanitized, too rehearsed, too convenient. Local outlets that once held the coaching staff accountable now sound more like PR extensions. Every press conference hits the same notes, the same vague responses, the same dodging of the Sanders question. And fans are over it. They're not stupid. They know when they're being fed a narrative. And right now, it feels like someone's trying to protect Stefanski from a storm he brought on himself. But all that does is pour fuel on the fire. Because if there's one thing fans hate more than losing, it's being lied to while it's happening. This quarterback controversy has become a symbol. It's not just about who's playing. It's about trust. Trust in leadership. Trust in management. Trust that the people running this team actually want to win and aren't just clinging to their own egos or playing favorites. Right now, that trust is gone. The Browns organization is dealing with more than a losing streak. They're dealing with a credibility crisis. And it's not just Stefanski's problem anymore. It's bigger than him. It's creeping up into team management, into player development, and into the long-term direction of the franchise. That's what makes this more than just a rough patch. This is damage. When a coach repeatedly ignores talent like Sanders, you're not just wasting potential. You're sending a message to your entire roster. That performance doesn't matter. That loyalty trumps logic. And once that message takes hold in a locker room, good luck getting it back. It fractures morale. It sows resentment. And it creates an environment where players stop believing. That's the risk Stefanski is taking. And for what? To prove a point? To avoid admitting he might have been wrong about Gabriel? Because from the outside, that's exactly what it looks like. The ripple effect is real. Players see it. Agents see it. The entire league sees it. And now, thanks to Mike Verbal, the rest of the world is seeing it too. Stefanski could have handled this differently. He could have taken the criticism, reevaluated his decisions, and made adjustments. He could have listened to the locker room, the fan base, the common sense that says Sanders gives this team a real shot. Instead, he doubled down. He stuck to the script, literally and figuratively, and now he's drowning in it. Because once the gimmick coach label sticks, it's almost impossible to shake off. It's not just about game plans anymore. It's about reputation. And right now, Stefanski's is unraveling faster than his offense in the third quarter. And let's not forget, the fans have been loyal. Browns fans don't bail at the first sign of trouble. They've stuck through rebuilds, bad trades, quarterback graveyards, and heartbreaking losses. But this feels different. This feels like betrayal. Because it's not just losing. It's watching obvious talent get benched. It's watching the same mistakes repeated. It's watching the media dance around the real questions. It's the feeling that no one is actually trying to fix what's broken. They're just trying to survive the headlines. But the headlines are here now. And the longer this goes on, the worse they get. You can't hide behind coach speak when the whole world is watching your team crumble week after week. You can't claim to be building something when you won't use your best pieces. And you definitely can't sell trust the process when the process is clearly flawed. Mike Verbal's comment wasn't just a jab. It was a mirror. And what we're seeing in that reflection is a coach who's lost the plot. Stefanski had the chance to evolve, to lead, to turn this ship around before it hit the iceberg. Instead, he stayed frozen at the wheel, hoping the same strategy that's already failed would suddenly start working. It hasn't, and it won't. If the Browns want any hope of salvaging the season or the locker room, they need change. Not tweaks, not half measures. Change, starting with the quarterback, followed by a serious look at who's actually making the decisions and why those decisions keep missing the mark. Because right now, Cleveland isn't just losing games. They're losing belief. Drop your take in the comments. Is Stefanski still the guy for the job? Or has the gimmick coach, tag stuck for good? Do you think Shatter Sanders needs to be starting immediately? And what does it say about the Browns that he's still not? Smash that like button if you're tired of seeing talent rot on the bench. Share this with every NFL fan who's been watching this train wreck unfold. And make sure you subscribe. Because if the Browns keep spiraling like this, trust, this story's not over. It's only getting started. Since the gimmick coach line dropped, Kevin Stefanski has been under an even brighter spotlight. Every mic'd up sideline clip, every offensive drive, every post-game presser scrutinized. The national narrative is shifting fast. Stefanski's name isn't being thrown around as a strategist anymore. It's being whispered as a liability. And the more he tries to brush it off, the worse it looks. You can't take a jab like that from another coach, have your offense collapse the same night, and pretend it's business as usual, because the evidence keeps piling up, and no amount of coach speak can cover the fact that the Browns are floundering. This isn't a slump. This is an unraveling, one that starts and ends with a quarterback decision. Let's get brutally honest here. Dylan Gabriel isn't cutting it. He's a decent college-style QB with flashes of execution, but he's clearly overmatched when defenses adjust. He's predictable. His pocket presence is shaky, and he has yet to string together a complete game against a competent opponent. His ceiling is low, and we've seen it repeatedly. And yet, Kevin Stefanski keeps starting him. Meanwhile, Shatter Sanders, who by all accounts is a more dynamic, composed, and mature option, is stuck on the sideline, reduced to warm-ups and post-game claps. For what reason? No one knows, because Stefanski won't say. And the longer he stays silent, the louder the frustration gets. It's not just fans asking questions anymore. It's former players, analysts, opposing coaches. Everyone sees what's happening. Everyone's watching the slow-motion implosion and wondering the same thing. What exactly is Kevin Stefanski doing? Is it ego? Is it politics? Is it pressure from upstairs? Or is it exactly what Mike Verbal said, that Stefanski's entire offensive philosophy only works when it's scripted, clean, and under complete control? That the second something unpredictable happens, like, say, a defense adjusting in the second quarter, he's out nothing? Because that theory is getting harder to deny. Every week, it's the same cycle. The Browns look okay for a drive. Maybe two. They hit a couple rhythm throws, mix in some misdirection, get the crowd buzzing, and then it disappears. The game starts to bend, and instead of adjusting, the Browns just break. That's not a personnel problem. That's not about execution. That's coaching. And here's where it gets even worse. Stefanski is making himself the story. The best coaches know how to disappear behind the success of their players. But Stefanski's decisions, especially the quarterback fixation, are put him front and center. He's no longer just the coach. He's the conflict. And that never ends well. What's even more damning is how obvious the solution is. Start Shatter Sanders. That's it. That's the pivot point. The spark. The lifeline. Sanders gives this team the shot in the arm it desperately needs. He's mobile. He's confident. He can lead. He's shown it. He's earned it. So why isn't he playing? The excuses just don't land anymore. Not when the team keeps losing. Not when the offense keeps collapsing. Not when every other quarterback around the league is getting chances based on far less. Stefanski is out of runway. Every week he waits is another week of wasted opportunity. And fans are sick of waiting. Cleveland has suffered through more quarterback chaos than most franchises combined. But this one hits different. This one isn't about injury or talent gaps. This is about deliberate mismanagement. And it's driving the fan base into full revolt. They're not just booing. They're tuning out. And for a franchise that's already fighting to stay relevant in a crowded AFC, that's dangerous. Because this story isn't just about wins and losses anymore. It's about culture. When a coach repeatedly favors a less effective player with no transparency, it creates distrust. Players start second-guessing decisions. The locker room fractures. And the idea that the best man plays becomes a punchline. That's how you lose a team. That's how you lose a season. That's how you lose a job. And Stefanski? He's on that path. The irony is painful. A few years ago, Stefanski looked like a stabilizing force. He was the grown-up in the room, the tactician, the guy who could bring some identity to a franchise built on chaos. But now, he is the chaos. The offense is a mess. The quarterback room is divided. The media is spinning. And the coach has no answers. Even worse, he doesn't seem to think he needs any. Every time he's asked about the QB situation, it's the same vague, scripted lines. We evaluate everything week to week. We have confidence in our guys. We'll do what's best for the team. All empty. All meaningless. Because if that were true, Sanders would already be starting. And everyone knows it. That's why this isn't going away. It's not just about performance. It's about perception. Stefanski is now seen, fairly or not, as a coach who plays favorites, avoids accountability, and hides behind a flawed system. And that perception is bleeding into the locker room. The damage is being done in real time. Every game Gabriel starts, every quarter Sanders watches from the sideline, is another step toward dysfunction. And at this point, if Stefanski does finally make the switch, it won't be seen as bold or strategic. It'll be seen as desperation. The window to lead decisively Gone. Now it's about survival. And look, even if Sanders comes in and plays lights out, the larger problem still stands. The Browns wasted valuable time. They mishandled a pivotal moment in the season, and they did it with eyes wide open. That's the kind of misstep that lingers, that reshapes reputations. Mike Vrabel's shot was a fluke. It was targeted, and now it's sticking. Gimmick coach. That label might follow Stefanski for the rest of his career. Because fair or not, that's what happens when you get publicly called out, and then do nothing to prove the opposite. He's boxed himself in. Every week he doubles down on Gabriel. He validates the criticism. And if the Browns spiral out of playoff contention, that phrase will be the obituary on his time in Cleveland. All because he refused to adapt. All because he couldn't let go of a system that stopped working weeks ago. All because he ignored what was right in front of him. A ready quarterback, a frustrated locker room, and a city begging for something different. And now he's out of moves. So where does it go from here? Unless something changes drastically, unless Stefanski swallows his pride, benches Gabriel, and lets Sanders take over, this season is done, not just in terms of wins, but in terms of trust, in terms of belief, in terms of hope. And when that's gone, the rebuild starts all over again. The worst part of this entire saga isn't just that Kevin Stefanski is failing. It's that he's choosing to fail in slow motion, week after week, game after game, opportunity after opportunity. And at this point, there's no more room for benefit of the doubt. This isn't a slump. This isn't a team trying to find its identity. This is a team with an identity, led by a coach who refuses to let go of his own ego long enough to save it. The Browns had everything lined up. A competitive roster, one of the most hyped defenses in the league, and a quarterback room that actually, for once, had options. Not just backups. Not just placeholders. Options. And somehow, Stefanski still fumbled it. Because let's be real, there was never a legitimate football reason for keeping Shatter Sanders on the bench this long. Sanders is everything this team's been lacking offensively. Composure, pocket awareness, quick decision-making, and, maybe most importantly, leadership. You can feel it when he steps on the field. The tempo shifts. The energy changes. It's night and day. And that's before you consider the absolute stagnation of Dillon Gabriel. Stefanski's loyalty to Gabriel has crossed into self-sabotage. Gabriel isn't elevating anyone. He's not unlocking the offense. He's managing games, barely, and once the defense adjusts, he has no answer. His production is hollow, and the ceiling is low. There's no spark. There's no grit. There's just repetition. Safe throws, short reads, and a steady march toward irrelevance. Meanwhile, Sanders is sitting there like an unopened gift under a burning Christmas tree. And the whole league is watching it happen in real time. At this point, Stefanski isn't protecting his quarterback. He's protecting his pride. He's refusing to admit that he misjudged the situation, that he backed the wrong guy, that the only person still pretending this plan is working is him. And that refusal? It's costing the Browns everything they've built up. Momentum, chemistry, confidence, gone. And the locker room sees it. That's what makes this so much more dangerous than just a coaching error. It's a cultural implosion. Because when you repeatedly overlook a better player for no reason, you send a clear message. Politics over performance. Loyalty over logic. Comfort over competition. That message spreads like wildfire. Players start second-guessing every decision. Trust in leadership begins to crack. And before you know it, you've got an offense that doesn't believe in its coach, and a defense that's sick of carrying the weight. It's happening already. You can hear it in the pressers. You can feel it in the body language on the field. The tension is visible. No one's saying it outright, but they don't have to. Everyone knows what the issue is. Everyone knows what the fix is. But Stefanski won't make the move. And now he's stuck. Because even if he does start Sanders next week, it won't feel like bold leadership. It'll feel like a concession. A too-late pivot from a coach who painted himself into a corner, then tried to call it strategy. And what happens if Sanders comes in and shines? Stefanski looks worse. Because then it's not just a decision he got wrong. It's weeks of wasted opportunity. Games thrown away. A fan base gaslit into thinking, We're evaluating week by week. Was anything more than a cover? There's no graceful exit from this. He's boxed himself in. And the fan base? They're tired. Not angry tired. Not meltdown on Twitter tired. Just numb. Because they've seen this script before. Not exactly this one, sure, but the same plot beats. High hopes, mismanagement, confusing decisions, an unwillingness to adjust, and then the slow, painful drift back to mediocrity. It's the Cleveland Classic. And right now, Stefanski's directing the remake. The media's complicity hasn't helped either. When local coverage reads like PR and tough questions get dodged with the same coach speak lines every week, it starts to feel like the truth is being buried. And that only makes the divide worse. Because now the fans don't just feel like the team is losing. They feel like they're being lied to while it happens. It's not paranoia. It's pattern recognition. And the more this plays out, the more it feeds into the narrative that Stefanski just isn't built for this moment. That he's a system guy. A first 15 plays coach. Someone who can draw up a beautiful plan, but doesn't know what to do when that plan goes sideways. And right now, everything's sideways. The offense is stuck. The quarterback room is tense. The locker room is divided. And the media narrative is fractured. Half silence, half speculation. The only thing holding together is Stefanski's stubborn belief that he's still in control. But that control, it's slipping. And once the locker room goes fully cold, once the team mentally checks out, there's no getting it back. The Browns are staring at a crossroads. And whether they realize it or not, every week they let this ride out without change. They're walking further away from a version of this team that had real playoff potential. Every quarter Shatter Sanders spends holding a clipboard is a wasted chance at momentum. And if this spirals any further, they won't just lose games. They'll lose players. Because at a certain point, no one wants to stay on a team where talent doesn't matter, where merit is optional, where the obvious is ignored for the sake of comfort. That's where this is heading. And the warning signs are loud. Verbal's comment didn't come out of nowhere. It was targeted. It was calculated. And it cut deep because it exposed the truth. Stefanski has become a gimmick coach. Maybe not in the flashy trick play sense, but in the deeper, more dangerous way. He's a coach whose system only works when conditions are perfect. But football isn't about perfect. It's about adjusting in real time. It's about using the players you have, not the ones you wish you had. It's about putting the best guy on the field, no matter how uncomfortable that decision might be. And if you can't do that, you lose. Not just games, but the respect of the players who give everything on that field. The belief of the fans who show up every week. And the trust of the organization that hired you to lead, not just survive. So now we wait. Will Stefanski finally make the switch? Will he put pride aside, bench Gabriel, and give Sanders a start he's clearly earned? Or will he ride this out until the wheels fall off completely? Because if he doesn't move soon, the wheels aren't the only thing coming off. The entire Stefanski era might be heading for the exit. Let us know what you think. Is there still time to turn this around? Or are the Browns already spiraling past the point of no return? Should Sanders be under center this week? Or has that ship already sailed? Drop a comment with your take. Hit the like button if you're over the excuses. Share this with your fellow fans who've been waiting for a spark all season long. And make sure you're subscribed. We'll be tracking every twist in this train wreck. Because if the Browns don't turn the page soon, the next chapter is going to be even messier.